Welcome back. I hope you are doing great. I am Behrouz Bigham. gets intense in animation. It doesn't ruin the scene for now, but in reflections, you see the reflection option is disabled here, both shadows and reflections, because ray tracing doesn't support them fully yet. But fortunately, we mentioned that this happens in new versions. Even in the next Lumion Service Pack update, they will definitely introduce that feature, which was a new option, reflection support. It will be fantastic. Now all reflections are calculated with ray tracing, and most of our materials are like this. It can help greatly in making the render realistic. Okay, let's see what else is left in movie mode. I copy all the effects for this one too. I delete ray tracing and go to the reflection option. I need to delete the planes we added here and add our own planes specifically for these sequences. Hit remove all and they are all deleted. No need to delete them manually. I set the shadows for this section to sharp. Well, something just came to mind here. Instead of this section, you can copy the styles. I set it to overcast, cloudy weather, instead of realistic. We adjust our HDR. It has a good mood now. And now I can use the appealing weather effect. You can spend time on these. We covered all of them in detail in their respective sessions. I'll spend a little time on these. You must hold these options on different time intervals and adjust them. The more it goes this way, the more it takes on a snowy appearance. We don't want it to be too snowy. The Add Keyframe option next to the effect means it has animation capabilities. This means you can define that the rain gradually increases or decreases, or gradually turns into snow. We will try to work on this in upcoming sessions. I also increase the quality of this. Our shadows shouldn't really have much meaning here. Why do they not have meaning? The reason is that we don't naturally have shadows in rainy weather. You must be mindful of this. We will learn animation phasing and use all of these together. Another useful option is Advanced Move, which gets more specialized. And the next effect is Mass Move, which influences a path. We will learn all of them together. I am done, and I will render the final result, and we will watch it together. I go to Render Movie and choose Full HD Quality. I name it and